I want to talk about Catcher in the Rye. Written, essentially. Have you read Catcher in the Rye?
No.
It's
I'm not a big reader.
Don't worry, me neither. I feel like I used to feel. I think it was more just pressure. Like I felt like I should read classics.
Yeah,
and I don't know.
I think everyone goes through that phase. Like I've read a good bunch of the classics, like the Count of Monte Cristo and those sorts of ones.
Oh
like,
no, I'm reading that now actually.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
it's sitting on my living
doesn't
room.
count as reading if the book's not opening.
I'm like 40 pages in, and it's absolutely massive. And I don't know. I'm struggling to get into it.
I had Les Miserables, and I tried to read it. I read 900 pages of Les Miserables, which is almost a 2,000-page book, and I just gave up. I just gave up. I think the secret would be to read it in like 4 sittings, but who can? You know, I no one's got time for that. And I had the same with what's his name, Hunchback of Notre Dame. That was the same. I tried to read it.
I have to say, I don't think I've read any of these old classics. I mean, more modern classics like
Gatsby.
Yeah, Great Gatsby. I enjoyed the Great Gatsby actually. But like modern classics, I can't even fit Mice and Men.
It's a good book actually.
Yeah, Orwell's stuff. These books I enjoyed. I genuinely enjoyed. Catcher in the Rye is an enjoyable book. I can't get into anything like pre-20th century. It's just
too much.
It's too much.
Yeah.
It's kind of boring, and people will hate on for this, but who cares?
Hate us.
Whatever.
Keep going.
These modern classics are great, but I just don't read them anymore. I end up just reading thrillers because I read for fun. I don't read because I want to improve myself, which is terrible.
I actually had a discussion today about this. That apart from like self-improvement books, things like
but then I'll do the audio version. Don't you?
I hate audiobooks.
What's wrong with you?
I read them in my own head.
Dude, we got to have Audible sponsor this someday. You got to be, I love audiobooks. People are going to be like, Sam doesn't know, does he? I'm totally kidding.
I think the thing is, I can understand audiobooks are like way more in the same way that podcasts are really good for like when you can't sit down and watch something, or when you can't sit down.
Yeah, no one sits down.
No one has time to like sit and read a book or something.
Read a book.
I mean, some people do, not many anymore. And so
sorry, not read. I mean, listen.
Yeah.
Of course, you sit down in a chair and read a book.
Exactly. You can be on the road walking. You can be listening to a book. But no, I had this discussion. Like for instance, for me, the Dan Brown books, they catch
love
me.
those. Yeah, I mean,
they're good.
Stupid but fantastic.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
great.
love it.
Love that. Give me something about Templars, and I'm happy.
Yeah, I love that. I like those ones. I really like Digital Fortress.
I didn't read Digital Fortress. I've not read that one because I didn't like how it's outside of the world of the Robert Langdon.
It's
thing.
Good. I mean,
but the
it's
the Lost Symbol was fantastic, which was the one of the series that didn't get made. I thought it was the best one.
Oh, into a movie?
Yeah, because Inferno got made, and that was bloody awful.
I think I've only seen the first movie.
Yeah, Angels and Demons was great.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Da Vinci Code was good.
Wait, which is the one where he jumps out of a plane into a river? I think that's
Angels and Demons.
Wait, that's not the first one.
The Vatican.
Oh no, I have seen both then.
First book, but the one with the Pope.
Okay.
And then the third one, Inferno, was bloody awful.
I don't think I saw that.
Yeah, it's not worth watching. Like they basically didn't have time to show the story, and so they made cuts which just were no good. Yep.
Okay.
Anyway, right. Catcher in the Rye.
Catcher in the Rye. Okay, so this is kind of brief. Do you want to open up that link there? It's a New York Post, I think. So essentially, Catcher in the Rye was written because Charlie Chaplin stole J.D. Salinger's girlfriend. There's this... I'll just talk it through. I've got my notes out in front of me. I'm going to look at them because I don't want to screw it up. So there's this girl called Una O'Neill. I'm not sure if I'm even pronouncing that right, but I looked her up on Wikipedia. You know someone's parents, and like you go on someone's Wikipedia page and you know they haven't come from nothing when it says like Una O'Neill, daughter of so-and-so. And then both people have their own Wikipedia page. Like we talked about Jack Black, and it's like, oh, his mum has her own Wikipedia page. Notable. Anyway, so she's 16 because, you know, it's back in the day, and she meets 22-year-old J.D. Salinger. They date, and I was wondering, is that illegal? Because I know the Americans are super intense about this. I think if you're 17 and if you're 18 and your girlfriend or boyfriend is 17, I think there's like some statutory rape thing going on in the States.
Well, I suppose it depends if you're sleeping with them.
Well, yeah, obviously.
But I don't think back then people did sleep with people before getting married, really. Pre-marriage.
I bet they did.
No, I don't. I really don't think they did.
Anyway.
I think even now in America it doesn't happen as
Yes,
often
it
as you'd think.
does.
Maybe I'm naive.
Maybe in the Bible Belt.
In the Bible Belt.
Yeah, but that's like that. Not everyone's
Where was she
crazy
from?
religious.
Bible Belt.
I don't know. She was from somewhere else, and then she moved to Los Angeles.
Headed
to become an
for Hollywood.
actress. Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I don't know. Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Anyway, and also I wonder about the law there. Anyway, because modern day, like 18 and 17, it's weird. I don't know.
Well, it's a weird point because generally girls do want to date older boys, and so
Yeah.
I mean, 16 and 18, that is a bit weird. In the UK, that's okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
That's legal.
It's
that's
it's
fine.
not quite legal.
It
It's
is
just
legal.
it's not prosecuted.
Yeah, it's legal because yeah, exactly. No, that's
Yeah.
true because I don't know. Have you ever heard of it? Like in the UK, it's like legal sex age is 16,
This is 16, sure.
and homosexual sex age is 18.
Is it really?
Yeah.
Surely that was stamped because the last major act of parliament was 2003. Surely that's been changed. Or at least the
I don't
common
know.
law.
Like I know that growing up was what it was. So-
Okay. Yeah. Interesting. And it did change a lot in 2003 because there used to be a whole different in the UK system of deciding what age could have sex with what age. It's weird. And yeah. Anyway, J.D. Salinger, he goes off to war, World War II, and his girlfriend, Una, she goes off to Hollywood to become a celebrity. And I thought, and she did, by the way. I was like, that's bold. Like, I'm off to Hollywood to become a celebrity. And she did.
Good luck, love.
Yeah, I really. Who doesn't go off to Hollywood? Who moves to Los Angeles? It's like, yeah, I'm moving there for banking. I don't know.
I don't love it. I don't love LA.
I don't mind LA.
I think there's a side to LA I've not seen, and I would love to see that side of LA.
What's the side of LA you haven't seen?
I've seen the side that I don't like very much. I would love to see because people go there. And they must go there for a reason, not just for fame. Like people live there, have their families there, and everything like that.
Yeah.
And I don't. For me, unless like you're on the beach, like kind of right there.
Venice, man.
Venice Beach.
There's a great TV show on Netflix that only ran for 2 seasons called Flaked, which is with the guy from Arrested Development who played Job.
Yeah.
Will Arnett.
Okay.
Great show. And it's like set in Venice, which is like, I knew nothing about Venice, but it seems like this really nice part of Los Angeles where everyone seems to be a bit of a hipster. And there's a podcast I listen to, and one of the guys lives in Venice, and he says it just seems to be enormously expensive, but it seems pretty cool.
Lots of avocados, loads of chia.
Exactly.
That sort of thing.
Yeah. And apparently there's lots of like homeless people because they're like, oh, where should we move to? Well, we may as well move to the nice part, live by the beach.
Why not? Exactly. Sleep on the beach.
Anyway, so she goes off to Hollywood and she meets Charlie Chaplin, who at the time, you thought, oh, it's a bit weird that J.D. Salinger's 22 and she's 16. Charlie Chaplin is 53.
That is a bit weird.
But he's a great guy. He waits until that she's 18 before they get married. Just in case you can't tell, listeners, that was sarcasm. So also, Salinger, this isn't 2020. He has no idea. She hasn't written to him. She hasn't told him. He can't check her Facebook.
He was at war.
He's fighting in the war. Exactly. You know how he finds out? Charlie Chaplin's famous. He reads about it in the paper.
No.
Yeah, that's pretty devastating.
That's bad.
He's pretty pissed.
That's not cool, Oana.
So he sends her a sick burn. He says, here it is. How does it feel being with a man who is being treated with monkey glands? Can you, without looking at my notes, take a guess at what that means?
Not being treated with monkey glands.
He was being treated with... He says to her as like a joke about elderly Charlie Chaplin, 53, he's being treated with monkey glands. What do you think she's getting at?
I'm going to guess it's something to do with excretion of glands. Is there a... No idea.
No, excretion of semen. It was
semen. I wanted to go there, and then
it
I was
like
is
the
it there?
1920s Viagra. I don't know if it actually worked, but I thought that was a pretty good burn. J.D. Salinger.
Are we saying
after all.
Glands or glands?
Glands, like like the things you have in your body.
Like a gland, yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
so they'd like apparently extract some monkey glands and give them to people. I don't know if they actually did this, but this was the joke that J.D. Salinger made about Charlie Chaplin.
Oh God.
He gets back from the war.
It's a good burn.
Yeah, it's a pretty good burn, I thought. He gets back from the war. He's pretty mentally screwed up. He went to war.
Of course.
And he was on D-Day. It's not a great time.
And that was bad for the Americans. That was
D-Day was bad for everyone.
Bad for everyone. Yeah.
Fortunately, it turned out the right way, but lots of people died. So he's pretty messed up, and he writes Catcher in the Rye. Like, in this state, he's kind of like, oh, this kind of sucks. I'm pretty screwed up. He writes Catcher in the Rye. And then he lives his whole life, and he dies in New Hampshire in 2010.
Wow.
Yeah, right?
God, he lived.
Yeah.
That was a long time.
Add him to my list of people I'm surprised still alive. Chuck Yeager. Henry Kissinger. Still alive. One day they'll be dead.
Who is it? John Adams.
No, he's definitely
No,
dead.
John Adams.
Isn't he one of the founding fathers?
Yes, he is. John Adams, I think if I'm correct, I think it's his great-great-grandson is alive now.
Dude, I think it's even better than that. I think it's like the grandson or something.
It could be.
Because it was like he was super old,
80,
his wife was
80
super
and 80
young.
or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. And it goes on. And someone's... They're
I
like
think it's
granddaughter of the founding father. Something
is
crazy.
still alive.
I can't believe that's possible, though, because that was like 1700s.
Yeah, well, if there's... No, this is why I think it's the great-grandson. Let's check this, and we'll have to look it up. Yeah, make a note, because I get the hunch, I've just got a hunch that it's the great-grandson, which is
Still
very,
absolutely
very impressive.
crazy.
Like, it's when it kind of puts that time scale. I love that when you...
Like, I have a kid, and it's like, their great-grandparents, I mean, one of them's still alive.
Yeah.
Still alive. These are a founding father. What the hell? Okay, so because Charlie Chaplin's kind of a dick, by the way.
Yeah, he was
this?
a very difficult man, wasn't he? I'm not sure exactly what he did, but
I'll tell you.
Okay,
go to that Vice article.
I know he wasn't not very nice, but he was very difficult, wasn't he?
I posted this on Twitter. Just the title is so Vice. Charlie Chaplin was a sadistic tyrant who little girls, teenage girls.
God.
Yeah, no, he was kind of bad. This is the most Vice thing I've ever seen. Vice used to be really cool, and I'm not sure what happens, but it kind of just became so memeable. Yeah. He was basically... let me just pull a quote from this. I actually pulled it out because I don't want to go through the whole article. People were obsessed with Charlie Chaplin, and basically, it unsurprisingly went to his head a little bit. Here's a great quote. In 1920, from this article from Vice, in 1920, the same year he and Harris went through a bitter divorce, Chaplin met the 12-year-old who would become his next wife. Hang on, it's not as bad as you initially think, because of course this is Vice. Lolita McMurray, who later went by the professional name Lita Gray. Although Chaplin admired Gray, even commissioning a portrait of her, he held off pursuing her until she was a more appropriate 16 years old and playing a small role in his 1924 film The Gold Rush. So essentially, he liked this 12-year-old girl. He waited a little while, and then he employed her and preyed upon her. It's kind of it's kind of nasty.
Yeah, not great. Not great, Charlie.
Also, had a reputation for being super cruel. Here's a callback to, I think it was either in our unaired pilot, so I'm not sure if we've done an episode about it, or maybe we redid it. We talked about Marlon Brando in Apocalypse Now.
Yes, we did.
And we talked about
Brando.
Yeah, Marlon Brando was also a difficult dude, to work with, apparently. And he described Chaplin as the most sadistic man I've ever met.
Wow.
Yeah. So
interesting, isn't it? Isn't it interesting how you get like characters that you know from TV or film, and then you get them outside of that situation. You meet them. And never meet your heroes, they say, don't they?
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going to come from them, and they are just...
Listen, just don't be a dick.
Where he was, I suppose...
And also, if it's an act, I feel, I don't know, like when we do this podcast or when I do shit on YouTube, if someone meets me, I expect them to think, oh, he's probably just slightly more I'm probably slightly more boring than I am on this podcast or in a YouTube video.
At least we hope, eh?
Well, because no one, this isn't like we'd have a chat, but this isn't a conversation we'd really have in a pub. It's like more structured. We've thought about it. We definitely amp it up a little bit because it sounds better. But
no, we don't.
But it's the same person. But I think when it's an actor or someone who you don't know, You've just seen their characters.
Yeah.
Don't expect anything. Don't expect them to be anyone.
I suppose also
It's unfair.
He was one of the world's first mega stars, like mega superstars, like from silent film, from his first films. Like that had never happened before, and there was suddenly this new medium, this ability to share what he looks like, his image, and his image even now to today is very iconic. So I think he built that back then, and he probably got to his head. Let's be honest. I guess a bit of Bieber syndrome, if you will.
Keep your shit in check. You want a Charlie Chaplin bonus fact?
Yeah.
After he died, some people they dug him up. They stole his body.
No.
And they ransomed his wife, who I believe was that 12-year-old. Hang on, he went through a bit of divorce. Oh, I don't know. He got married so many times I get confused. But it was the Una woman.
The Una. Yeah.
It was that was his last wife, and they stayed together the whole time.
Do you know what my answer to that would be? He's dead. Keep him.
Well, yeah, you'd think.
Did she pay?
They wanted $600,000 equivalent. I feel this happened in Europe because he was British. Anyway, I don't know, but I don't know if it was dollars or pounds or whatever. It doesn't matter. It's going to be way more today. I don't even have the inflation adjusted
a lot
numbers.
of money. Did she pay?
No, the police caught them.
Oh.
And then she had his body sealed in a bunch of concrete so people couldn't steal his body again.
It feels very sacred.
Yeah.
Feels sacred.
Well, they bury people under concrete now.
And they stop the smell.
To stop people stealing bodies. And
is that what it is? Yeah.
I think like notable people and stuff, because people get weird about this. You know, there's lots of weirdos. If you're famous enough, there's lots of weirdos. You know, Osama bin Laden was they just tossed him off a boat.
Yeah, and you know why?
Yeah.
Go on then.
Go on. Well, I want to know if you know why.
So that there was no one place that could be used as a shrine.
Good, right?
Yeah, it's and it's clever because it's never like confirmed. It's never like no one knows where.
No, we just chucked him off a boat somewhere. That's it. He's probably like being eaten by lots of little bugs and rotted away. Speaking of
death and dying, just a nice little fun fact. Do you know why Morgan Freeman always wears golden earrings?
Ooh, I want to guess.
Go on.
Okay. Is it medical?
No.
Because Bono's sunglasses for glaucoma, apparently.
Oh, no, I believe that. No, it's not medical.
It's not medical. Style?
Not style. I mean,
is it something?
They do look pretty badass, but it's not style.
It's a memory of something?
No, I'll give you a hint.
Okay, give me a hint.
It's an old sailing habit. It's an old sailing habit.
He was a sailor?
No.
He was in the Navy?
No. You might have been, but he...
Okay, dude, you're going to have to tell me. Because I would like to keep guessing, but I realize it's not super entertaining.
Not particularly enticing pod. So it's an old sailing habit that people would wear so that if they died in a foreign place, they would have enough money. They would have like the gold to buy a coffin.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wait. Why does Morgan Freeman have this?
Well, in case he dies in a foreign place.
He's Morgan Freeman. His body's going to be repatriated. And
I've got a small story. I've met Morgan Freeman.
You have?
Yes. So
I've never met anyone famous.
I mean, this is.
I've met YouTubers, but like not traditional famous.
This is the bit where I sound slightly out of touch, and I'm gonna try and not sound too.
Were
out
you
of touch.
at Ascot?
I'm really not. It wasn't Ascot. It was actually a bit better than that. But basically, when my parents split up, and when my parents split up, my dad decided to take us on like a really nice holiday.
Yeah.
And it was like kind of all the savings ever got put into this holiday, and we went. It was not a great financial decision, but a fantastic holiday.
Yeah.
And,
well, when your parents get divorced, you get loads of cool stuff.
I suppose.
That's what I heard from movies. My parents are not divorced. But yeah.
And basically, what happened was that we went to the Caribbean, and we were on in a beach bar, and there was just this big.
How old were you?
I was 15, 16.
Amazing.
And there was this very tall guy sat in the corner, sort of slightly graying, freckles on his face. I'm okay, thanks. And like freckles on his face, and he and like one of the guys we were with was like, "Hey, I think that's Morgan Freeman." And we were like, no, come on. It's not Morgan Freeman.
He's got to be somewhere.
That's it, you see. But like the logical answer straight away was, it's not him.
Yeah, no, I'm always like, whenever I see someone who I think is someone, I'm like, nah, it's probably not. And you don't want to be like, hey, Morgan Freeman.
You don't want to look. You know, that half notice, that half recognize where you're kind of like, is it? And
yeah,
it's
I know this
creepy
one.
stare.
Yeah.
You must get that, actually.
You get this sometimes. Like, I don't know, there was...
I know the face, but where from?
Yeah, this is the biggest one.
Yeah.
And it's like, Yeah, it's weird.
But yeah, no. So basically, my dad took it upon himself to go and check if it was Morgan Freeman. He was like, "No, you guys all stay here.
Awesome.
Your
dad's a legend.
I'm gonna go check if it's him." And so he walked up to him and he was like, "Excuse me."
My dad would be like, "Leave the poor man alone."
Well, no. I think what it was he was telling us to leave the poor man alone. He wanted to go and say hi, and so he went over. He's like, "Excuse me, Mr. Freeman. I'm just here with my family. We just noticed you're here. Can we come and say hello?" And so he came. He said, "Yeah, over you come." And so
he was just on holiday.
He's got a place there.
Great.
And he basically was just, this is his local little bar, and like looking out on the port and everything. And so we went over, said hi, shook his hand, said hello. He gave my nan a kiss, and she was like, "Oh, I'm never gonna wash my cheek."
Oh my god.
And then he basically kind of recommended what to do on the island and said, "Right, go do this, and hope you have a nice time." And then about 6 hours later, we'd gone for a walk. We'd gone to see all these natural caves and everything like that.
Yeah.
We came out and we're walking back down the road towards where we're staying. And suddenly this Land Rover pulls over and Morgan Freeman sat in the driver's seat, and he looks out and he throws it. And the place that we'd been to see was the baths. And he's like, "Hey boys, how's the baths?" And we were like, "Yeah, really good, thanks." And then he went, "Have a nice day." And then that was terrible, Morgan.
That was pretty good.
Have a nice day. No, I can't do it. And then he drove off, and my little brother, who was a bit too young to understand what was going on here, we just heard him go, "By God," because he played Bruce Almighty.
Oh, of course. Oh, that's great.
But no, so that's why Morgan Freeman wears gold earrings, and he was wearing gold earrings when I met him.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I mean, if he ever died on that island, at least he'd have a coffin.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
If they just leave him there, that's it.
I think he has a place there actually, but it's
That's awesome.
No. So what, you've never met anyone famous?
No.
Really?
I don't YouTube people, but no one from the traditional movie star world.
Mm-hmm.
Why would I?
You know, I've never seen any of the royals, and the first time.
Oh, my parents met Prince Charles.
Oh, that's quite good.
That's it. Yeah.
My dad's got a picture of him shaking Prince Prince Philip's hand, where he visited his school or something.
Okay.
But the first time my wife went to London, the very first time she saw Kate, William, and Harry all coming out of the palace, like all in one go.
Yeah.
And I've never seen them.
No, I don't. I don't
think
know. I'd be surprised if you had.
I'm never anywhere that they are. So
no, I don't hang out in many palaces owned by the Windsors.
No.